gonna bring the tea? Okay. Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call this meeting to order. And we're going to start out with our Pledge of Allegiance. So I'm going to ask Louis Wilkenfeld, the Artistic Director of Cabrillo Music Theater, to join me for the pledge. Group is going to do, there we go, thank you very much, going to do a number from Oklahoma for us, but I thought I'd have Louis up here so you could say hello to him, and I'd like him to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Louis.
Thank you.
All right, if we could have the roll call, please. Ms. Lawrence?
Councilmember Fox?
Here.
Councilmember Bill De La Pena is absent. Councilmember McCoy?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Price?
Here.
Mayor Adam?
And I'm here. So I don't believe we have any continuances to be requested, so I'm going to go back to the podium for our special presentations. All right, thank you. All right, first up, for our first special presentation, we have some folks here from the Ventura County Fairgrounds Sponsorship Department to show us what the new Ventura County Fair poster will look like, which is a tradition that's done every year, and these posters just get better and better. And why don't you folks come on up and join me. We have Andrew Geib, Elizabeth Fernandez, and Megan Garcia. So, tell us about the poster and a little bit about who's featured at the fair this year.
So, this is the poster for the fair this year, and the theme is a country fair with country air. County fair. And the student that drew it, her name is Annie Sun, and she's 14 years old, and she's from Newberry Park. And so, this year, the fair will be August 5th through the 16th. And it opens at 11 o'clock every day.
This year we'll be having some special entry days. On Wednesday, August 5th, we have Dollar Day, where entry to the fair is $1 until 3 p.m. We also have Carnival Wristband Days, where there's discounted wristbands for the carnival rides. That will be on Thursday the 6th and Tuesday the 11th. We also have a Feed the Need canned food drive, where if you bring 5 cans of food for food share, you get free admission. That's before 5 p.m. We also have a youth day on Friday, August 7th, where visitors 12 years of age or younger will be admitted free all day. Then we also have a $3 before 3 day on Wednesday, August 12th, where entry is $3 until 3 p.m. We also have a Military Appreciation Day and a Seniors and Persons with Disability Days. So, a lot of good deals.
Our concerts and rodeos are free with fair admission. Thursday, August 6th, we have Montgomery Gentry. Friday, August the 7th, we got Huey Lewis and the News. Saturday, August 8th, we have Leanne Rhymes. Sunday, August 9th, we have Robert Tapia, Beatrice Adriana, and a mariachi band. Monday, August 10th, we have Kevin Costner and Modern West. Tuesday, the 11th, we have Neil Sidaka and Chaka Khan. Wednesday, the 12th, we have the band Perry. Thursday, the 13th, the B-52s. Friday, August 14th, Salt and Peppa. Saturday and Sunday, we have the rodeo.
And then, just so everybody knows, there's going to be free parking and free shuttles. And those places will be at the County Government Center, Ventura High School, Pacific View Mall, Ventura Unified School District on Stanley Avenue, Oxnard Performing Center, and Harbor Boulevard at Schoner Drive. So, does anybody have questions? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's get a quick picture here. I like the fair. They have a lot of good headliners, but I believe that you're still doing the 4-H livestock exhibits, right? Yeah, so that's really good for kids, and it's very interesting, and it harkens back to our past. See the livestock up there. So let's get a shot, kids. Carl, I'll take my bag. Gather around.
Thank you. And here's your tickets or your admission.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, I would like to invite up now Danny Anderson. She's the Executive Director for the Independent Living Resource Center. Hi, Danny, how are you? July 26 marks the 25th anniversary for the ADA, the American with Disabilities Act. President Bush signed this into law, and the act would eliminate discrimination against individuals with disabilities. The ADA has expanded opportunities for Americans with disabilities and fostered new participation and increased participation in community life. The City of Thousand Oaks is committed to the ADA. We have an advisory body to the City Council. It's called the Disabled Access and Appeals Advisory Board. They give us input to help promote disabled accessibility in the city. And the Independent Living Resource Center is an advocacy organization run by and for people with disabilities. It supports residents of Thousand Oaks with disabilities so they can live more independently, make their own choices, and achieve the civil rights that are mandated by the ADA. So Danny, thank you for coming tonight. And would you like to tell us a little bit more about the ADA?
I would, yes.
All right.
Please.
Want to use this one? There we go.
Thank you. Can you all hear me? Okay. Mr. Mayor and City Council members, I'm here as the Thousand Oaks resident representative from the Independent Living Resource Center, or ILRC. We've been providing services to the disability community here in Ventura County since 1982, and with the passage of the ADA 25 years ago, our organization was finally able to advocate officially for the civil rights for our consumers, along with the long list of services that we were already providing. We take great pride in serving the residents of Thousand Oaks who have disabilities, and we appreciate that you've reaffirmed the city's commitment to work towards full ADA compliance and taken the time to recognize the importance of the ADA's anniversary by celebrating today. So thank you very much.
I can tell you that this city is fully committed to the ADA Act. We live it every day. So Danny, thank you for coming down. Let me present this certificate to you that commemorates the anniversary. We'll swing around here and get a little shot. How about that? Right here, Carl? All right. Very good. All right, very good. And lastly, I would like to have an encore from our Cabrillo Music Theater director and befitting the Oklahoma presentation, I say, oh, what a beautiful evening. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Louis Wilkenfield is coming our way.
Thank you.
You like that?
That was great.
All right.
You should have sung it.
I'm
telling you.
I didn't have the nerve.
All right. Now,
Tell us about Oklahoma.
thank you. Thank you for that really wonderful welcome. We bonded over musicals a couple years ago, so I love that you love musical theater. We're glad to be here. As always, it's a busy summer at Cabrillo Music Theater. And I want to let you know a couple things that are going on in the community. Next Tuesday, we're having a special open mic night at Bogey's at the Westlake Village Inn. We're inviting the entire community, including all the members of local theaters, to come and sing anything from Rogers and or Hammerstein. And you know that includes everything from Showboat to Rodgers and Hart to some wonderful, wonderful music. So we hope people will come. It's free. It's a bar, and it should be a lot of fun. That's 1 week from tonight. 2.5 weeks from now, actually 3.5 weeks from now, is our second annual dance marathon. We had a wonderful success last year, and we hope everybody will participate this year, either as a dancer or to pledge to somebody who approaches you and says, I'm going to be dancing in the dance marathon. You can go to CabrilloMusicTheater.com for more information about the dance marathon. And yes, I will be dancing again this year. And you're all welcome to pledge to me to dance. I will do the best I can. I made it 3 hours last year, but it goes for 24. We're in the middle of our annual fundraising campaign launched by our Director of Development, Maureen Feldman, and we are excited to watch as folks match what they did last year as part of that campaign. And I want to tell you about a special event coming up. It's just in the formulating stages. It's called Cabrillo's Field of Dreams. It will tie into our production of Damn Yankees this fall. It'll be on September 19th. Save the date, because we very much hope that the City Council will play a leading role in this event. And it's going to involve local youth and community outreach. It's going to be very exciting. We've got a lot of things going on. We're giving back to the community in almost every possible way this summer. Our young people are going to be entertaining at senior centers through the month of August, taking entertainment to those who can't come see our shows. Our work with the military continues through the summer and fall, and our animal rescue organizations are going to be here at every performance of Oklahoma. They'll be lined up outside the Cavly Theater. You may come to see a show, but you may go home with a new family member. So check out every one of the 10 performances of Oklahoma, because this building and this community is doing wonders to give back through these outreach efforts. I want to tell you very briefly about next season. We have 4 shows coming up, a season for all seasons. We start in the fall with Damn Yankees. We come into this room next winter for A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. I brought props. Next spring is the musical based on the first 10 chapters of Genesis, Adam and Eve and Noah and the Ark. It's called Children of Eden, and it's written by Stephen Schwartz, who wrote the music to Wicked and Pippin. Oh, thank you. And just so you know, Stephen Schwartz calls Children of Eden his personal favorite of all his musicals. So we're excited about that. And then Disney's The Little Mermaid. And again, just like with Mary Poppins, we're going to be the first company in this part of the country to get to do Disney's The Little Mermaid. Season tickets, you save up to 50%. I very much encourage you to become a seasoned subscriber. Our seasoned subscribers have stuck with us for 22 years, and there's no secret why. They love the discounts. They love the great treatment. There's information on the Oklahoma postcard right there, and Natalie from our office is going to hand out material to those of you right now. I also have to tell you, as we move into Oklahoma, Shirley Jones is on our advisory committee. Thank you. We should work together. We should go on the road, you and I. Yes. Shirley Jones is on our advisory board, and she's been doing interviews on behalf of our production. And in the material I'm handing out, she actually did a face-to-face with our Lori that we posted on Facebook and sent out an e-blast, and it's been very well received. Oklahoma. In addition to our animal rescue organization that we'll have, we're also going to be doing our Cabrillo Kids before every performance. The show it's 70 years old, and it's as timeless today as ever. It's all about the American dream, and musicals were invented by Oklahoma. That the way you see all musicals was shaped by the musical of Oklahoma. It's got lots of heart, great music, great dance, perfect for all audiences. It runs July 17th through the 26th, right next door at the Cavly Theater. Tickets are at Ticketmaster, or come to the Civic Arts Plaza box office, or go to CabrilloMusicTheater.com, and that's theater with an R-E. And I brought you a treat, 2 of the stars of Oklahoma. Now here's the deal. Cabrillo Music Theater's launched stars to Broadway, to film and TV, You've seen them all over. They're in every Broadway show right now. They're on television. They're on Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. We love what these young people go on to do after they do a show for Cabrillo Music Theater. Here's two more of them. Please enjoy a song from Rodgers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma called All or Nothing. The performers are Josh Schweitzer as Will Parker, Melanie Maccabee as Ado Annie, and they're joined on the piano today by Lloyd Cooper. Rodgers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma.
Well, Ado Annie, now that you're engaged to me, you gotta stop having fun. Well, I mean, with other fellers. You'll have to be a little more standoffish when fellers offer you a buggy ride.
I'll give an imitation of a crawfish and dig myself a hole where I can hide.
I heard how's you was kicking up some capers. Well, I was off in Kansas City Mall.
No.
I heard some things you couldn't print in papers from fellers who've been talking like they know.
Foot, I only did the kind of things I order. Sorta, to you I was as faithful as can be. For me, them stories about the way I lost my bloomers. Rumors, a lot of tempest in a pot of tea.
The whole thing don't sound very good to me.
Well, you see,
I go and sow my last wild oat. I cut out all shenanigans. I save my money, don't gamble or drink in the back room down at Flanagan's. I give up lots of other things that a gentleman never mentions. But before I give up any more, I want to know your intentions. With me, it's all or nothing. Is it all or nothing with you? It can't be in between. It can't be now and then. No half and half romance will do. I'm a one-woman man, home-loving type, all complete with slippers and pipe. Take me like I am or leave me be. If you can't give me all, give me nothing. Then nothing's what you'll get from me.
not even something.
Nothing's what you'll get from me.
It can't be in between. It can't be now and then.
No half and half romance will do.
Would you build me a house all painted white, cute and clean and pretty and bright?
Big enough for two, but not for three.
Supposing that we should have a third one.
He better look a lot like me.
The smitten image.
He better look a lot like me.
With you, it's all or nothing. All for you and nothing for me. But if a wife is wise, she's gotta realize that men like you are wild and free. So I ain't gonna fuss, ain't gonna frown. Have your fun, go out on the town. Stay up late and don't come home till 3. And go right off to sleep if you're sleepy. There's no use waiting up for me.
Oh, wait, oh, Annie.
There's no use waiting up for me.
Come on and kiss me.
So, yeah, go say hi to City Council. They're nice people. They don't bite. Every song in Oklahoma you already know, right? What a Beautiful Morning, Surrey with the Fringe on top, the title tune, Kansas City, I Can't Say No. Next 2 weekends, hope to see you at the theater, July 17th through the 26th. Thanks to City Council for allowing us to come and be here this evening. And remember, if things get tense tonight, just burst into song. It makes everything better. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Louis. Thank you to Josh Switzer and Melanie Mockabee, our two performers, and our pianist, Lloyd Cooper.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. All right. The way to start a meeting. So, shall we move on to public comments? If you would care to announce that for us, Ms. Lawrence?
This is the time and place for public comments. A speaker card is available for those wishing to address the City Council regarding items on the agenda or on a subject within the city's jurisdiction. Speakers for public hearing items shall be called and heard during the public hearing. All remarks should be addressed to the council as a whole, and all documents for City Council and the official record should be presented to the city clerk prior to speaking. Speakers are requested to state their name and community of residence for the record. Under state law, public comment matters may not be considered by the council unless listed on the agenda, but may be referred to the city manager for administrative follow-up. 12 people have presented cards, and pursuant to council standards, speakers are allowed 3 minutes. The yellow light displays when you have 1 minute remaining.
Thank you very much. And I have 12 cards, so as I call your names, if you would move down front, that'll move things right along. First up, our Director of Public Works, Jay Spurgeon. Hello, Jay.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I wanted to give a quick update on our water conservation for the month of June. As everyone, I'm sure, is aware, we're in a severe drought statewide. The governor had declared a drought state of emergency last year, and the state has given us a whole series of water use restrictions as well as mandated water use reductions. And for the city of Thousand Oaks, that reduction level is 32%. I am very pleased, though, to report that in the month of June, as compared to the same month in 2013, citywide we were down 29%. That's a good effort. I appreciate our residents, our businesses for conserving water. We haven't met our 32% yet, but we're well on our way. I think that our residents should consider redoubling their efforts in conserving water for this month, July, and as we go further into the summer and into the fall. We've had almost 200 phone calls and inquiries by residents and businesses in terms of questions about water conservation and also expressing water wasting concerns, which we followed up. We've had almost a couple dozen water surveys that we provided. These are free of charge to our residents and businesses, where staff will come out and go over a resident's water use and how to help save water further. So I would encourage our residents to today, tonight, this weekend, check your irrigation sprinkler timer. Make sure that it's on 2 days a week, because that is the restriction. And then check your sprinklers. Make sure they're not watering the sidewalk, the street in front of your home, and your neighbor's lawn, although they might appreciate that. So anyway, thank you to our residents and businesses. Continue the good work, and we'll hope for good numbers again in July. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Next up, Haider Alawami, followed by Elka Brooks. Haider's our Economic Development Director. Good evening, Haider.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. I'm here to talk about the Special Olympics. Two things I'd like to talk about is the law enforcement torch run final leg. It's this Friday, 17th. It's going to start around 1:10, 1:15 at DeWitt Center. And we're going to have international Special Olympic athlete and international law enforcement officer who will be carrying the torch from DeWitt Center all the way to the Civic Arts Plaza. It's going to end at the courtyard of the Oaks, and there's going to be a ceremony there and some speeches. So I encourage everybody in the community to come out and cheer on those runners who's going to be carrying the torch. That's eventually going to go. They're going to end up at the LA Coliseum for the Summer World Games, Special Olympics World Games. And the other thing is, as you know, we're a host town city. We're one of many cities in Southern California as a host town. And a week from today, we're going to get 100 athletes and delegation from 4 countries. The countries from Mongolia, St. Vincent, San Marino, and Tajikistan. They're going to be staying with us for 3 days. We're going to entertain them. And one of the big events we're doing for them is the community barbecue event. And it's going to be at the Conejo Creek North, and anybody who wants information about it, it's on Wednesday, July 22nd. It's going to start around 4:30. It's going to be barbecue, music, entertainment, and anybody who's interested in knowing about it, go to the city's host town, Thousand Oaks Facebook page, and there's information about the barbecue as well as the torch run. So with that, thank you, and hopefully we'll see everybody there at the barbecue. Thank you.
Thank you, Hader. Next up, Elka Brooks, followed by Mary Harris. Good evening, Ms. Brooks.
I'm here today to remind you that the people with handicaps and disabilities, they're just like you and I. They need good jobs and feel very proud when they can come to work like their brothers, sisters, and everyone else. My name is Elka Brooks, and my family and I have lived with my family over here in Newbury Park since 1978. We've raised 2 sons and a handicapped daughter. Julie is now 42 years old. She has participated in Special Olympics for over 30 years. In her adult life, she has worked in various programs through PathPoint, such as Wood Ranch Barbecue, Wrapping Silverware, Channel Island University, Garden Maintenance, from which the crew was laid off due to financial cutbacks in 2009. After several months of no work and unhappy staying at home, PathPoint offered Julie a job at the Thousand Oaks Library. PathPoint has contracted with the library since 1996, and Julie joined them. She was there as a collection crew, with a collections crew of 3 ladies with a supervisor. There were also 3 custodial people with a supervisor. Julie got up each day with great enthusiasm and enjoyed her job very much. We would walk the Conejo Creek Park North before work, and she would get a latte at the library and be ready for her work 15 minutes before start time, which was 9:15. They would work until 3:45 every Monday through Friday. Julie has now worked at the library for 5 years. Her co-workers have been there for 8 to 14, and there was never a complaint from the library staff. There were always full days of work, even on the last day. Regular library staff appreciated the work done and even assigned special jobs, stuffing envelopes, putting together folders for events, pre-reading from special lists if the books are to remain in collection. Well, PathPoint informed us on June 1st that the city had decided not to renew the contract. On the last day of work, there was a beautiful luncheon at the library, and the library staff attended. But at first I was so appalled that the city would lay off 6 special needs people after 19 years of service. Can I just finish? It'll be another minute.
Well, a few more, you will have to wrap up your remarks, please. Just a few more seconds.
Okay. There is such a shortage of good jobs for people with disabilities. I know now, after talking to Nancy Schramm, that besides, or at least she says there is no budget restraint, but I was told otherwise. But then she explained to me that it was other circumstances, computers, but the girls worked every day, and there were full days, and now there is such a need for special needs people, for handicapped and people with disability, that there aren't enough jobs around.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks. Thank you for coming down.
Okay, thank you.
And next up is Mary Harris. Mary, followed by Billy Martin. You coming down, Mary? Yeah. Okay.
Good evening, Council. The only reason I'm down here is, number one, I live in Thousand Oaks. I know Rob knows that. But I just am down here to request, because not only am I in a wheelchair, unfortunately, but there's a lot of other people that can't get into some of the businesses around here because either the doorways are too narrow, or you can't get in or out because of the tight squeeze. But the ADA is very important to me, being disabled. I never knew what it was like until I ended up landing in a wheelchair, but now I understand what other people are going through. So I would just request of the council if they could look into seeing what can be done to make things more accessible for not just me, but for other people that really need to get in and out of the businesses. The only one I can get into is Mimi's restaurant, but a lot of the other places I want to go, I can't get in there. So that's all I would request, is that the council look into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary. Billy Martin, followed by Jim Wolfe.
My name is Billy Martin, and I'm a Thousand Oaks lover. Yeah. And I know we get about 15 minutes of fame, so I have to do that with 5 3-minute council meetings. So tonight, the first thing I'd like to say is I'd like to thank the city for Herbs Road. I think it's a wonderful road. I took it today. It's faster than the 23. And I love the white fence, and that we kept the 3 oaks at the bottom. They're the only oaks on Herbs Road. Also, I'd like to thank the city for the special election. And Al, thank you very much. I don't know if you got credit for that, but I think it was very apparent with the participation and with the outcome that the outcome would have been completely different if we were still using an appointment process. And I'd like to speak a little bit to that. First of all, congratulations, Rob. I wasn't completely in Rob's corner, but I was rooting for Ed Jones, and I think I worked on Ed's campaign. The only thing he let me do was handle his Acorn advertising, but at any rate, I think that there's a spot out here on the city grounds where there might be a memorial oak tree in Ed Jones' name in the future. And that's really what I'd like to speak about today is I think there was a referendum through this election, and the referendum was pretty much against what the vision for the boulevard was and is, and especially the idea of a downtown. It's very difficult to have a downtown when you have only one street. But that's not a bad thing. We do have a city center. We have probably one of the finest city centers in Southern California. The facilities here and what we offer in this town are amazing. And I think what we do is we spin this boulevard off of the Civic Arts Plaza. We upgrade the grounds here and make it an actual spot for people to gather, sort of like a town center, which it already is. All of these things are already here. And the other thing that's already here is a boulevard, a beautiful California meandering boulevard. And that's what we've got. And what we need to do now is to start working in the streets, not worry about the draft board. What we need is to do, and this is a business proposition, we need to work in the streets, we need to promote what we have, we need to build the business that's already on the boulevard, and we have some fine businesses. First thing I would do is historic dining on the boulevard, and we connect the Crown and Anchor, Danes, Harold's House of Omelet, Lupe's, Corrigan's, and we create a boulevard of dots that are going to be connected as these new developments get approved. Mixed use, all for it. I was all for the boulevard. Thank you.
Thank you, Billy. Jim Wolfe, followed by Catherine Goodspeed.
Mayor, council members, and staff. My name's Jim Wolfe. I'm from Thousand Oaks, and sadly, we're back again. The last time I spoke here, I offered the city to come to some type of settlement terms with the Ranch Mobile Home Park without any obligation or cost whatsoever. The response was the city hired the trial lawyer firm of Ferguson, Orr, Case, and Patterson to delay and obfuscate in court and to harass and intimidate the most elderly poor people at the Ranch Mobile Home Park. I see the ADA was here tonight, which is interesting because 75% of these people are disabled. Average age is just under 80 years old. They now want to depose every member of this class, including our World War II veterans, 2 of whom are here tonight. And worse than that, they even want to depose 7 of the 21 class members who are dead since this debacle began 5 years ago. So the last council, the prior council voted 3-1 to throw these people under the bus. And it was a cold-hearted, cruel, and inhumane decision. It just defines elder abuse in its ugliest form. And people ask us when this madness is going to stop, and they say, why is this continuing? And I think we found among the reasons we found, this is a copy of a demand letter from the owner of the park. Put a demand on the city for the $250,000, $250,000 it's cost him to defend us because the city made us also bring him into the lawsuit. And I just want to read a little part of this for you because it really explains a lot. Under item 6, the city council and city attorney's office caused, I'm sorry, I should put my glasses on, caused the injury and damage here. So on June 4th, 2011, Mayor Andrew Fox and Assistant Attorney General Christopher Norman promised on behalf of the city that the city would defend and pay all costs to defend the ranch rent increase to be included in the city ordinance number 1559 NS if ABGMH would agree to the ordinance and record a covenant. It was kind of like an if deal. So the ABMGH agreed to the ordinance and recorded a covenant in reliance upon that promise. The city subsequently breached the promise in 2013 by expressly asking the attorneys for ranch tenants who were suing the city to also sue ABMGH.
Jim, I got to ask you to finish up, please.
I'm sorry. Did 3 minutes go on already?
Yes, sir.
I'm very sorry.
We're past.
So you've seen that, and it's in your record, and thank you very much. I'm sorry to run over.
It's all right. Thank you, Jim. Catherine Goodspeed, followed by Victor Brunso.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, city staff, and residents. I'm Catherine Goodspeed. I'm a Thousand Oak resident, and I am here to talk about the Montana Rampersad versus the City of Thousand Oaks litigation. Since the residents of Ranch Mobile Home Park initially received a letter from the city proposing an egregious rent increase in 2010, 21 residents have passed away. These are the names there. This is the list of the 21. Once we were convinced was the direct result of stress imposed upon the city's actions. I am not sure what the council is being told regarding the happenings in this case. As of today, 5 residents have been deposed. Each deposition costs the taxpayers $1,000. Now the city trial lawyers have added video to the cost as well. Many of the questions were irrelevant to the case. Now the city's trial lawyers want to depose the entire class who were discriminated against. In your packet, there's 4 pages, or 3+ pages of residents' names. Another stalling tactic by the attorneys. These elderly, extremely low-income residents can offer nothing of substance. They rely upon their counsel to reduce their stress. The only apparent purpose of this despicable tactic is to harass and intimidate these elderly residents. In addition, in your packet, you will find that the city's trial lawyers wish to depose 9 of our 12 deceased residents. They are starred on this overhead. This is elder abuse at its ugliest form. The average age of these elderly residents is barely under 80 years of age, and 75% are disabled. In your packet, you will have a list of 47 people the city's trial lawyers want to depose, 9 of which are deceased. It shows their present health of those who are still with us. Please look at the second page, 16. This is the second page of this that is also in your packet. This is one of the ranch World War II vets. He suffered a heart attack and required triple bypass, walks bent over, and additionally takes care of his spouse who is 24/7 disabled. Number 24, she suffered a debilitating stroke in November of 2010, a month after these letters. After a meeting with the rent increase, she has not fully recovered, requires caregivers, and has continued stress from fear of losing her home. These are just 2 examples of none of these residents should be deposed. Additional stress caused by this intimidating tactic, unconscionable. There is absolutely nothing of substance that can come from these depositions. There are only 2 things that can result: further stress and harassment paid on the elderly, and pouring more tax dollars into the coffers of the trial lawyers. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Catherine. Victor Brunso, followed by Valerie Hopkins.
Mr. Mayor, thank you kindly. Victor Brunso, I reside in Thousand Oaks. I would point out to you one of the headlines from today's Ventura County Star: Obama calls on the nation to help care for seniors. I wonder how you believe that comports with what's going on at Ranch Mobile Home Park. More importantly, I wonder if you have any idea what it's doing to the people there, despite the fact that we've lost 21 folks now. During these proceedings, the only reason that I can envisage for these video depositions is you know that you're killing off more of us and cannot otherwise just bring us back to court. I had the supreme joy of being deposed by Miss Lauren Rabb of the Ferguson case firm on behalf of the city. She readily admitted that she Googled me beforehand in order to see what she might find to undermine my credibility. This business is outrageous. I'm going to ask you to think back to how we got here. Folks, predominantly, to the best of my knowledge, Miss Albano, then Mayor Fox, decided that a park owner was entitled to a just and reasonable return. At that time, they considered that just and reasonable had to be a market reasonable rate of return, and on that basis established an increment in rentals that was almost 1.5 times the then current base rent. I can understand that when Guggenheim case came down and very clearly announced that the owner was entitled to no more than the deal he struck, that the city was hesitant to back off its position while that was on appeal. But then the Supreme Court denied cert in that case, and you still stuck to that position. Notwithstanding that, cases have come down, and on the document that I've submitted, they are all footnoted. 2 more cases, one out of San Jose, approving the idea of municipal restrictions for affordable housing. We need to get rid of 1599 NS and go back to the terms and conditions that provided affordable housing for very low income, superannuated citizens. This is no way to treat your residents. Thank you kindly.
Thank you, Mr. Brunso. Valerie Hopkins, followed by James Ross. Evening.
Hi. As you all know, the prior City Council removed all promised protections for the elderly poor at Ranch and allowed a 27% space increase each and every year for 7 years, while the other parks received a 3 to 5% increase for only 6 years. The prior council knew that the average income of the elderly poor was only $956 per month, and 50% of the residents were disabled. The Ranch residents repeatedly petitioned the prior council to ease the residents' stress and fear of becoming homeless, with no penalty for the city. The city's reply was to hire trial lawyers. On June 9th, we sent the city a settlement demand and requested a response by June 26th. If you all do not have a copy of this letter, our council will furnish a copy for you. We have received no response from the city. Why would the city waste significant taxpayer monies on outside counsel rather than engage in constructive dialogue to bring this matter to closure? As a result of the city's legal counsel refusal to interact with the Ranch, this case is now on the verge of trial that could cost the city many hundreds of thousands of dollars. As a Conejo Valley property tax paying resident for the last 48 years, folks, I'm wondering why the city prefers to hire outside lawyers to settle its business when simple face-to-face conversation would suffice. We all look forward to hearing why the city is expending so much taxpayer money to silence its seniors and cover up the results of this wrongful administration. There are numerous pro bono legal counsels, churches, clubs, and individuals active in our support. It would be impossible to thank everyone by name at this time, but I wish to extend special thanks to our Hillcrest Avenue neighbors and everybody else who's here who's been supporting us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hopkins. James Ross, followed by Kay Secra.
Mr. Mayor, council members, and staff, thank you very much for your time. My name is James Ross. I'm here on behalf of Y Green Energy Fund. Y Green Energy Fund is a PACE administrator. We're similar to other PACE programs available within LA County, but I'm here because we have some significant differences between other programs you might be familiar with, like Hero and Fig Tree and so forth. What Y Green does, if anybody's not familiar, provides homeowners with property assessed clean energy financing for any water saving measures or energy saving measures, so gray water systems, recyclable water systems, solar panels, things like that. The differences with Y Green, and many would agree, is that the economics can make a huge difference when homeowners are looking at different options to do this. One of them is that our terms are much longer than the other providers, our rates are lower than the other providers, there's no bulk assessment placed on the property for lien filing. There's much more deductibility because Y Green's financing falls under the Senate Bill 555 model. What I'm hoping to do is work with everybody within Thousand Oaks to bring more options to the constituents, to help reduce water usage, create huge incentives, make a big difference in water reduction measures. The benefit is that this costs the taxpayers no money to implement, and if there's any questions, I'd be happy to provide any type of documentation to any of you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, James. Kay Secra, followed by Barbara Shamoon.
Hi, my name's Kay Secra. I live in Thousand Oaks. The seniors at Ranch Mobile Home Park are some of the most decent people I've ever known. When my son became extremely ill a few years ago, I barely even knew them, but several of them who heard about our hardship came to me and offered help. I was humbled at what these very poor and elderly people offered. One of them, Elka Brunso, offered his ability to help transport my son to hospitals as far away as Chino or Bakersfield, so my husband and I wouldn't have to pay the $4,000 out-of-pocket ambulance fee every time my son was transported there from ER. When I finally took my son to an alternative clinic in Minnesota for 7 weeks after mainstream treatment repeatedly failed, it was Jim Wolfe and Kathy Goodspeed who came to my house every single day of those 7 weeks. They fed my other 2 children, took care of my dogs, took care of my husband, and they sent me cards of encouragement and emails of support. While I was down on my knees praying every single night of those 7 weeks for my son's full recovery, I had the knowledge that the seniors were praying for his full recovery too, all of them. Because of the support of these extremely compassionate, generous people whom I barely even knew, I was able to find courage and strength and endurance during the worst part of my life. And I could focus completely on my son. Oh, God. Miraculously, against all odds, against the prognosis of 9 different specialists, against the lack of hope that mainstream hospitals here in California offered, he recovered completely. And it's now been almost 2 years since that horrible winter in Minneapolis. He is alive and well. The seniors of Ranch, but we know things have not fared quite so well for the seniors. The seniors at Ranch Mobile Home Park are not welfare recipients. They don't want Section 8 housing. They want their independence, and they live off their pension checks. And by doing that, they save taxpayer money. They are homeowners who have pride in home ownership, and they take care of each other just like they took care of my family. And they would take care of every single one of you guys, too. They offer assisted living at its finest to each other with their full dignity preserved. It's been almost 5 years now, and 21 of them have now died, and they are still waiting for justice. They don't deserve this. We keep hearing how bad Thousand Oaks needs affordable housing for seniors, yet our city turned its back on the Ranch Mobile Home seniors, and the city keeps blocking our views and destroying our oak trees to build enormous assisted living facilities that are only for the rich.
Ms. Secra, I have to ask you to finish up, please.
All right. The hypocrisy of our city in this matter at our taxpayer expense is an outrage.
Barbara Shamoon, followed by Chase Rashid.
Good evening, Mayor Adam, City Council members, and staff. I wish to commend the Council and City staff for the fiscal year 15-16 citywide goals. I especially admire all of the work the Council has done with protecting our open spaces, developing a magnificent library system, my favorite, creating top-notch youth and adult recreation programs, making Thousand Oaks a safe place to live and a great place to raise the family. However, tonight, I'd like to address the council regarding several of those goals that need revisiting with a new lens. The first citywide goal states in part to provide municipal government leadership which promotes trust, transparency, and confidence in the future. Another of the goals states, also in part, to operate the city government in a fiscally responsible manner. And a third goal, also in part, continue the city's commitment to community and cultural programs and services such as senior programs. Looking at that new lens, the city had an agreement with the Ranch Mobile Home Park and decided a few years ago to throw out that agreement and charge the residents a 25% rental increase for 7 years. In contrast, other mobile home parks received a 3% increase for 6 years. Where is the city's commitment to our seniors? Where's the fiscal responsibility? These seniors, whose average age is 80, live off of a very fixed income of $1,100 or less. $1,100 or less. And that pays all expenses. These residents include World War II veterans, Korean veterans, Vietnam veterans. They include 2 Holocaust survivors. These are residents who have volunteered. Some have been docents, some have been waitresses and cashiers, and in a very small but yet significant way, they've helped to build Thousand Oaks to be the great city that it is. With no other recourse, these residents began litigation with the city over 3 years ago. How much has the city spent on hiring outside legal counsel? I checked the check registers. They reveal no expenditures. Where's the transparency there? City staff have acknowledged that money has been spent. Where's the trust for fiscal leadership? In closing, I would like to acknowledge that Councilmember Price, Adam, McCoy, and Bill De La Pena were not part of this original agreement. However, you do have the power to build back public trust and show the residents that the council can be good stewards of precious taxpayers' dollars. Do the right thing, stop the insanity, and settle this Karen Montagna case. Show the Thousand Oaks residents they can trust your fiscal leadership and the council's commitment to our seniors. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Chase Rashid.
Chase Rashid, City of Thousand Oaks. I actually wasn't going to say anything tonight, but I felt compelled to when I heard these people talking about what was happening to them. Are we as a city really going to spend money to bully our elders? And that's what this is, what we have heard, that's what this amounts to, is bullying. We have a culture of bullying that some people have refused to tackle. But when we have taxpayer dollars being spent to bully our elders, that is atrocious. These are not people that are just lying by lazily doing nothing. These are people who have worked for what they have. And some of them do not have large incomes. Most of them do not have large incomes. But they worked and they are living off of what they worked for. We have rent control in this city. Now, I understand that property owners have a right to get a reasonable use out of their land. They have that right. But they do not, that right does not come at the expense of seniors, our elders who have worked for their pensions and have worked to be able to afford a home in their golden years. Let me tell you, none of us are going to be the same age forever. I'm 29 years old. I'm not going to be that age forever. If you reverse that, when I'm 92, I would not want to be bullied and made to feel like I was the bad person. And when I'm in my home and I paid for my home and I worked hard for my home, all of you are going to be 92 someday. And I believe that you need to remember that, because you would not want to be on the receiving end of bullying when you worked hard for what you got. And I know the council receives a pension, and some folks are going to use that pension in their twilight years. And there's going to be people of the next generation who may come on the council and say, hey, fiscal discipline, let's get rid of that pension. I'm in that generation, and I'm a fiscal conservative, so if it comes down to it, eventually in the future, if council pension has to go, I would be in favor of that. And I would be in favor of maintaining rent control. But I want to leave you with that thought. Remember, you will be an elder someday, and some of y'all are already past what is considered to be pension age. So please remember that. And when rent control comes up again, think about morality, think about values. And there was a congresswoman from Pennsylvania. She took a very tough vote in Congress, and she said she knew the minute she took that vote for a budget that she was going to lose her seat. And she lost her seat by double digit. And to this day, she still stands by that vote and says she was glad that she lost her seat. That's Chelsea Clinton's mother-in-law, that she lost her seat to do the right thing. So thank you.
Thank you, Chase. Mr. Mitnick, any follow-up?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, three topics to follow up on. First off, we heard a speaker with comments, observations about Path Point. And just as a reminder, staff has met with and talked to, as well as some council members have talked to Mrs. Brooks. So we're understanding of her concerns, and want to point out that the city appreciates the long-term relationship it has had and maintains with Path Point. And the individuals that worked at the library, as well as those who still work here at City Hall. And again, while the operational needs of the library have shifted, Path Point assures us that they will work to find positions for those impacted. And for those of you in the community, if you own businesses and you're interested in the services that Path Point provides, we encourage you to go to their website. They are a great organization, and they can use opportunities for their clients. We had a number of people speak on the Ranch Mobile Home Park lawsuit. Again, as a reminder, the mobile home park did file a lawsuit against the city, and the city has been going through that process, and the city council has been brought up to speed and direction provided through a series of closed session meetings, and we'll continue to go through that process. And then finally, an individual spoke about the green energy program, and our Public Works Director will talk to that gentleman. That's it, Mr. Mayor, members of the council.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mitnick. And on we go to the consent calendar. Any items to be pulled? Any discussion there? All right, Mr. Price, how about a motion?
I'd be happy to move the entire consent calendar.
All right, Mr. Price, thank you. And we do have a motion to move the consent calendar. If you vote, please.
The motion carries 4-0 with Councilmember Bill De La Pena absent. And the ordinance title for item 7BB is an ordinance adding section 8-1.26 small residential rooftop solar system review process to the municipal code in order to provide expedited streamlined permitting process for small residential rooftop solar energy systems in compliance with state law, MCA 2015-70107.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lawrence. We have a public hearing this evening, and I'll go back to you, Ms. Lawrence, if you would announce that, please.
Hearing advertised as required by law is open to consider agenda item 8A, Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act public hearing for issuance of tax-exempt multifamily housing revenue bonds by Many Mansions for Villa Garcia apartment project. It's located at 1379 to 1419 East Thousand Oaks Boulevard. A speaker card is available for those wishing to address the City Council regarding this public hearing. We have one speaker, and the speaker is allowed 5 minutes. The yellow light displays when you have 1 minute remaining.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lawrence. Mr. John Prescott, our Community Development Director, will fill us in on this. John?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Tonight's public hearing is called a TEFRA hearing. It relates to the issuance of tax-exempt bonds on behalf of an affordable housing project. They would not be city bonds, as I'll explain later. The issue relates to the Villa Garcia Affordable Housing Project, which is owned by an affiliate of Many Mansions. It's at a point in time where it needs further rehabilitation, and there's a proposed sale of the property to another partnership, which will enable the project to receive additional funding, including tax credit equity. Villa Garcia is about an 80-unit apartment project located just off Thousand Oaks Boulevard, east of Rancho Road. And it was one of the first acquisition and rehabilitation projects that Many Mansions did with assistance from the city's former redevelopment agency. This was a very, very rundown project that was privately owned, and there were numerous social problems, crime problems, etc. The agency helped Many Mansions acquire it, rehabilitate it, and under their management, it is now a very beneficial community asset in terms of affordable housing and other factors. At this point in time, the tax credits that were originally used to buy the property have expired, and it's time to refinance that. Essentially, that occurs through sale to another partnership, which will be an affiliate of Many Mansions, and it is financed through a tax-exempt bond. And the hearing tonight relates primarily to that bond issue. It's taken pursuant to the federal, the hearing is Federal Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act, or TEFRA, which requires a public hearing to be held by the governing body of the jurisdiction in which the project to be financed is located. And that governing body, in this case the City Council, is required to decide and approve the proposed financing. Many Mansions is proposing to obtain tax-exempt financing in an amount up to $12 million to finance acquisition and rehab of the 80-unit affordable rental project. The financing would be through the California Municipal Finance Authority, which is a joint powers authority formed to assist local governments, nonprofit organizations, and businesses with the issuance of both taxable and tax-exempt debt. The debt to be issued by the authority will be the sole responsibility of Many Mansions, and the city will have no financial or legal obligations. We are just required to hold the hearing and approve the issuance of the bonds. All financing documents will carry disclaimers that the loan is not an obligation of the city. The city will not bear any cost of issuance of the proposed debt. It's a private loan, and in fact, the city will be entitled to a portion of the loan origination fee of around $6,000 income. In addition, two other actions are requested tonight, and that is assigning, there's an existing loan on the property that Many Mansions made to Thousand Oaks Gardens, the current owner, and that would be assigned to Villa Garcia Limited Partnership. And also modifying the terms of that loan to extend it out to 55 years, which is the typical affordability period, and change the interest rate to the applicable federal rate. Currently, it's at 3% simple interest, and the applicable federal rate's, I think, a little bit under 3%. And the city is not a party to the loan. However, the city does have a right to proceeds of the loan in the event Many Mansions defaulted, and a default would occur if they converted it to a market rate project, which has not occurred and we do not expect to occur. But because of that involvement, they have to get the city's consent to assign the loan and to transfer the property and to modify the terms of the loan. And staff has reviewed this and recommends that you approve it. We have a resolution, and we recommend you adopt the resolution to approve the issuance of the bonds, approve assignment of the loan, and the loan modification. Authorize the city manager to sign the documents necessary. And I'll be happy to answer questions. We also have a gentleman from the Financing Authority here and Many Mansions representatives.
All right, thank you, Ms. Prescott. Any questions? All right, and Rick Schrader, Director of Many Mansions, is here for questions if we have any. And I suspect your follow-up will be none, Mr. Prescott.
None.
All right, very good. Then let's ask for a motion. Mr. Fox, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to move recommendation 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just as noted in the staff report, the city will have no responsibility or liability with respect to the repayment or administration of these bonds. This does not relate to any city funding or project for itself. So very complex issue, but just to put it on the record, this is, again, in our attempt to assist with the overall affordable housing challenge that we have here in the community. So I'm happy to move the staff recommendation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Fox. I'll just say that this is the city's giving the stamp of approval on the issuance of these bonds, and again, it's just a good example of the long-term commitment that we have in this city to support affordable housing. The acquisition, the rehabilitation by Many Mansions will benefit 80 low-income households at the apartment complex. It definitely needs rehabilitation, and it'll extend the affordability of that complex for 55 years. So it's a good thing. All right, can we have a vote, please?
Motion carries 4-0. Councilmember Bill De La Pena absent.
All right, thank you very much. And next we have a department report on the acquisition of some open space in the Skyline area. Shelley Mason is here from COSCA to give us that report.
Thank you, Mayor Adam and council members. This item involves the acquisition of 3 parcels as open space. They're in the Skyline area, which the council is familiar with from previous open space acquisitions that we've made in this area over the last about 20 years. And Skyline area is distinguished by basically small lots on steep topography and some privately owned roads. And it's identified as a high priority by the Canal Open Space Conservation Agency for acquisition as open space. And since 1996, the city has acquired 77 parcels in this area as open space. This shows where the properties are located. They're south of the 101 freeway and Willow Lane and west of Hampshire Road. Here's a close-up aerial view of the parcels. They're off of Skyline, Fairview, and Canal Ridge, and they contain nice coastal sage scrub habitat and oak trees. And as you can see on page 45 of your packet, they are all adjacent to existing open space. The 3 parcels total about 1.1 acres in size, and they would augment the 65-acre Skyline open space. The purchase price for all 3 lots is $66,000 plus up to $6,000 in closing costs, and the money would come from the Open Space Endowment Fund, which has a balance of about $1.8 million in it right now. Staff's recommendation is that the council authorize the purchase of these parcels as open space, approve the budget appropriation and expenditure of the funds, and authorize the future transfer of the parcels from the city to COSCA for long-term stewardship. And I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Shelley. Questions for Shelley? Thank you. Appreciate that report. And if we have no questions or discussions, I will look to Mr. McCoy for a motion, please.
I move to approve item 9A and the recommendations as stated.
All right. Thank you very much. And let us vote.
Motion carries 4-0. Councilmember Bill De La Pena absent.
All right, thank you very much. And now we have Mr. Jeff Spector, our senior planner, to talk about the initiation of a municipal code amendment that would have to do with substance abuse treatment facilities.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. For the purpose of
this report tonight. A substance abuse treatment facility is a location that provides 24-hour residential, non-medical alcoholism or drug abuse treatment or recovery services. And we're here to discuss the zoning for this type of facility when the facility involves 7 or more persons. State law prohibits local jurisdictions from regulating these facilities differently than a single-family home if they serve 6 or fewer people. So with respect to these, the larger type of facilities, 7 or more persons, our municipal code does not currently list this type of facility as a permitted or conditionally permitted use in any of the city's zoning classifications. So for this reason, staff is recommending that the council initiate a municipal code amendment that would allow staff to draft and process an ordinance that will establish zoning regulations for this type of facility. That concludes my presentation, and I'll answer any questions you might have, or perhaps the city attorney can.
Right, thank you, Mr. Spector. Questions for Mr. Spector? All right. Then we're going to go to a motion on that as well. Mr. Price.
Yes, I'm happy to move staff's recommendation here. This is a necessary step. Other cities are finding that they're experiencing some problems without regulating this sort of home. So I, again, move staff's recommendation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Price. Yeah, I would agree with that motion. We're a little bit behind the curve on this thing. We need to have our municipal code define these facilities and then find out how they fit into the city zoning-wise. So if I could have a vote on that as well, please.
Motion carries 4-0. Councilmember Bill de la Pena absent.
All right, thank you very much. That actually concludes our business for this evening. I'll ask our city manager, Mr. Mitnick, if you have any follow-up items.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, no additional follow-up items. However, I would like to plug the next council meeting, and that'll be on September 1st after the August recess. So that's right, the council will be dark, as is its tradition in the month of August. When you come back, at this point, we're looking at 3 public hearings. One is another TEFRA hearing. This is involving the, where'd it go? There it is, the Shiloh Gardens housing project. Another public hearing on the the lighting assessment district annexation. Public hearing on a proposed wall on the back of private property on Classic Rose Court in North Ranch, backing up to Westlake Boulevard. That went to the Planning Commission. The decision is being appealed to City Council. By way of department reports, we have a few in the works. One involves the city's pavement management program, water and wastewater financial plans, 2 riveting and timely and topical subjects. And then the Thousand Oaks Boulevard trolley report will come to City Council. Over the next month and a half for the community, you are encouraged to go to the city's website, find out about a lot of the great performances that are coming up in these theaters here. You heard about Cabrillo's Oklahoma presentation, the musical coming up, lots of other stuff as well. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mitnick. And we do have a closed session item tonight. Mr. Heher, if you would announce that, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is existing litigation, Uribe versus City of Thousand Oaks. It's Ventura County Superior Court case number 56. 2014 0045 1727-CU P0 or PO VTA pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 Subdivision A. And Mr. Mayor, I do not anticipate I will have to report anything out.
All right, thank you, Mr. Heher. Well, on behalf of my fellow council members, I wish you all a fun and safe rest of the summer, and we will see you in September. Thank you for tuning in.